Hello, we just saw season 2, episode 3 of Gilmore Girls, and I'm Chemda.
I'm Carrie.
I'm so excited. This was released October 16, 2001.
Okay.
And it was called, Carrie's learning for the first time, it was called Red Light on a Wedding Night.
Red Light on a Wedding Night?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Once
not what
again,
I would have called it.
Yep. And it is a little bit of a spoiler because red light, wedding night, like you kind of get the spoiler of it. I would have called it Good Morning, Max.
Oh, okay. I have a name that I would have called it, but first I want to know if you know what an interrobang is.
It is the question mark and exclamation point?
Yes, exactly. So I would have named this episode 2 weeks interrobang. 2 weeks question mark exclamation mark.
Okay, it looks like we got to get into this episode. But first,
2 weeks. What is happening?
Look how angry Carrie's getting. I love it. I love it. I love it. All the passion. Let's put it into this episode. First, subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Press one of those buttons in front of you. But that's how we make our Gilmore Friends circle grow. Thank you for being a Gilmore friend. Subscribe. Let's get into it in Fran's bakery.
Okay, yes. We open in Fran's bakery and we find out several upsetting things all at once. The first thing I wrote down was 2 weeks from tomorrow, exclamation mark.
I know.
Because that means we have skipped the entire summer.
Yeah. But we kind of set it up to skip because Max is going away. Lane is going away. It's like, well, who are we talking to? Each other? Yes, but whatever.
Right. So we find out it's now 2 weeks from the actual wedding. Max is back because Rory says, how was your first night with Max back or something like that? Like he's back from whatever he was. Then we find out that Lorelai is scamming samples of cake because Suki is making all the cakes. So she doesn't need to be sampling cakes for her wedding. So she's a big liar, sneaky cake stealer.
And I feel very, very uncomfortable with that because there's a lot of free things that you can get. I recently went to a wedding expo.
Oh, I love those. We talked about this. Yeah.
Yes, which was free. And I knew there would be samples. They boasted about samples. In return, I am getting 20 emails a day from every kind of vendor.
You have signed up for a trillion mailing lists, and that is what you get.
Yes, but I had the samples. It was lovely. And, you know, I kind of felt I was feeling bad for about myself, actually, while I was walking through, because it was like, make sure you look pretty this way. Make sure you look pretty this way. Make sure that you have this. And I'm like, I think I would be so overwhelmed planning like one of those big grandiose weddings. And I could see why people get really upset. But yeah, so here, this is, a local bakery in a small town.
Right. She's not scamming Macy's. She's not scamming like the corporate overlords of the wedding industry.
Who give you a bite of a piece of cake.
Yes, exactly. She's scamming the local baker.
And there are, I counted as many as I could see. There were at least a dozen mini cakes, the kind of cakes that it's not a slice. You can actually bring that to a dinner party and go.
And they're eating, they can't reserve them. And then, by the way, did you notice that the raspberry cake that Rory was eating did not look eaten from one angle?
And she bit into it twice. And you cut to the other side where she bit and it was a full on.
And it was a full cake. But even if they're sampling these cakes, they can't reserve them. She had to make like 8 individual tiny cakes.
Yeah, she didn't go to an event where everyone's sampling.
In a town this small where everybody knows everything, does she not know that Suki's doing the wedding? Come on.
She's a little old lady who
the chefs talk.
She hardly understands your jokes. And this is, Rory asks about the ethics. I know this is supposed to be a comedy, but there's still ethics involved. And she says highly subjective and completely overrated. And you know what? We're looking at you, Lorelai.
Yeah, Lorelai, you did bad. Also, we find out that Rory is just finishing up the invitations. It's 2 weeks away. Yeah. Wedding etiquette is like You got to give people 6 years to plan around your wedding.
Now, granted, it sounds like it's in their backyard, but you still have to save the date somehow.
Yes. So did they already send the save the dates? They only planned this wedding for 2 months anyway.
Right.
Why are these invitations going out now 2 weeks ahead of time?
First of all, why do you even have invitations? Just tell Miss Patty and she'll tell everyone. That's probably what happened. And you're just doing this to talk about wedding invitations.
And Lorelai has not a single friend outside of Stars Hollow at all.
No,
she really doesn't. No, she's just a small town girl.
No, but you know what? I don't mind. But Rory is putting a love quote on this invitation.
Yeah, and they land, and you as they were reading it, I was making faces, and you were like, "I have these quotes. Don't worry about it." Because I was like, "Wait,
doll.
One from what? Oh, that's right. We're calling each other doll. I forgot.
Don't worry, doll, sweetheart.
Tell me, doll."
Okay, the first quote that Rory's suggesting Lorelai put on her invitation is, "What is love? It is the morning and the evening star," by Sinclair Lewis.
Pass.
Who in the world?
And that doesn't sound like Lorelai either.
Have we met Lorelai?
Yeah, this is exactly. That's not pass.
Here's number 2, which might be worse. Okay. And all went merry as a marriage bell, but hush, hark, a deep sound strikes like a rising knell. Lord Byron.
No.
What
pass.
did I even just say?
Pass. I don't know what you just said. And I don't know what I just said. I don't like your tone.
I think I just spoke French.
I think that was French.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
And the third quote, which also totes and apropes, whatevs. We have buried the putrid corpse of liberty. Mussolini. And she picked that one.
I mean, I think if you're going to have a wedding quote, the word putrid should be in there somewhere. Just find the word putrid and a quote with that, search by that word, and then just put that in there.
And there's still more wedding plans because Kirk is volunteer. Kirk wants to be hired.
That's Sean Gunn. Did you notice?
Oh my God. I officially love your face every time Sean Gunn comes on. You turn into an Italian from Bay Ridge who thought he was in the mob, but was not even on the football team, but still acts like he has all that testosterone.
That's like when I'm proud of myself for being a hacker.
Yes.
When I've clicked a link successfully and I'm like, I'm a hacker. And everyone.
It's one of my favorite Carrie faces. And now I look forward to Sean Gunn because I look forward to looking at your face.
But this time I identified him as Kirk. Yes. This time I went Kirk. And then I was like, oh, that's Sean Gunn. Because now it's just Kirk. Now this character has a name and he's like the jack of all trades. And he is convincing them to be their wedding photographer.
And God love him. What is happening?
Right. What is happening and why? And then he puts there's a famous photo of the, D-Day kiss on Times Square. And he throws that and he's like, that's an example of photography I aspire to. And they're like, the job is yours. This is an era before iPhones, by the way.
True. And and they also don't care. So if you don't care, I don't care. Also, it's costing them lunch and the cost of the film.
Lunch and cost of film. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small town. We'll member you. Don't worry about it.
Right. Right.
I mean, I always think it's nice to have a photographer. And I think if I were getting married in today's time, I would ask people to put their phone away. Don't worry, we got this. Because then you're just getting a picture of everybody taking a picture.
Yes.
And
okay, so I went to a wedding recently when the bride had please put your phone away for the processional, when the bride comes in, right? The first reveal of the dress. Mm-hmm. And that's when you would want to take your phone out because you're like, oh my God, a wedding dress in a person. But she had specifically said, please put your phone away. And I was like, mad respect because I like that. She's like, we hired 90 photographers. This moment will be captured. Please just be in the moment. And then what happened was I was so in the moment that I then started policing the other people with their phones out. And I was like, put your phone away. The bride said, put your phone away. And I became that asshole who was like slapping phones out of people's hands. Because I was like, if I had to put mine away, you got to put yours away.
Do you know how many group meetings I had to go to not be that person?
Really?
Yes.
Not to be the control freak at the wedding, slapping phones out of hands.
I am the inclined brain that will do that. Like, we were told,
right.
And you're ruining this moment. Not my scour. That's not ruining this moment.
No, not my vibe. Not my
vibe.
Not my flinging phones out of people's hands and hitting the bride and the flowers and but that was great. And then
we find out that I am so flustered. Max has never slept over. He's sleeping over for the first time.
And it's a weekend because his apartment's getting... Did we establish this is a weekend?
Yeah.
Because then I wrote it down. We're missing a Friday night dinner.
We might be.
I think we had pizza and movie, or like we had Max cooking garlic bread on a Friday night, I think, if this was a weekend. But he's never stayed over. His house is being painted for some reason.
Well, it's being painted because he's moving out.
But, well, is he moving out or is he renting it out? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we established that he is moving in to the Lorelai Rory household, or the Gilmore Guild, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's settled. Where are we moving?
Yeah, which makes sense.
But he's never spent the night?
Never once.
Has she spent the night at his place? Do we know?
I don't know, because you could leave a 16-year-old, but it doesn't seem like she does. It seems like she always comes home. So have they never had breakfast before?
Yeah, this is Are we too modern where you're like, do you want to marry someone if you've not seen their like wake up face?
It's not 1950, so yeah.
I say I want to see your nasty wake up face before I get hitched.
I want to know what your breath is like in the morning. Just to know.
I want to know,
because every day I want this, but
I mean, I do,
but
I have spent many a nights with my current partner, and 95% of the time he wakes up before I do.
Yep.
Because that's how our bodies are built. That's just how we are. But the 5% of times that I have watching him sleep, you feel like you get to know a person.
Are you kidding? Yes, absolutely. When I can tell the difference in my partner's breathing. Like, oh, he fell asleep. His breathing is different. Yeah. I love that.
I know. And they've never done that?
The snuggle in the morning.
Even if
you have to get up where you just go like, quick. And
no,
then just,
I'm not marrying anyone if I haven't had morning snugs.
Yeah.
Nope. And they've never done that. They've just
never done it. And she has a kid that this man is moving into.
Her teacher.
Lest
we forget.
I can't. So, okay, so they're having a play weekend, which you should have done months ago, or now, and get married months from now, but you don't do it 2 weekends before when all of this other stuff is happening. Okay, so they're having an entire weekend together, a sleepover. Yeah, let's call it what children call it, because it's not cute anymore, but okay.
Right, a slumber party. We're going to have a slumber party, and then we'll get to how that goes in a minute. But first, we also catch up with Dean and Rory, who are talking about a double date. And they have 2 anniversaries, which is a very cute teenager talk.
I think
because they broke up and got back together. So which anniversary qualifies? I also have 2 anniversaries with my partner. And one is the day we started. Well, we have 3. One is the anniversary of our first date. But then he started the tradition of celebrating the days. So we've had an anniversary on 500 days, 1,000 days, 1,500 days, 2,000 days, and I think the most recent one was 2,500 days.
I love this idea. Okay, people, listen. If you are the partner that has the mate that is like the swoony one, like I'm the swoony one. I'm like, oh, you did that for me. Like that comes out of my face. If you're the partner with that kind of person, surprise them with a 500-day anniversary thing.
It was pretty great.
So many points for no reason. Let's face it. No reason, right?
Right, because you're not, and then like so it was not on my radar for 500, and then it was on my radar for 1,000, and then I forgot by 1,500. So like we went out to dinner, and he had told the wait staff to somehow mention the number 1,500 to me.
Oh,
and they messed it up. Like,
well, in all fairness,
because they were like, "What?" And like,
yeah,
it was funny because the hostess, like, we came in and the hostess was like reservation, and she was like, "Oh, that's great because we have 1,500 other people here," and I was like, "What?"
Listen, maybe she didn't go to the same improv class. Like, come on,
she did not. It was very funny though because I was like, "What is
maybe
she
she's
talking
a dancer,
about?
not an actor." Like,
right, exactly. Yeah, that was not her thing, and she also thought that was a stupid request and like, shut up. But I was like, "What?" And then, then it turned out that was the day. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot to write it down. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, people have more than one anniversary.
I think that's very sweet. I love it.
Do you only have one?
I only have one.
Will you make that one extra special?
I only have one, but I'm the kind of person who makes up times. Like I'll make it up. Like, oh, it snowed yesterday, so that means we have to stay in and have a special it's steak day. I don't know, like,
oh yeah, I love steak day.
Yeah, whatever, I'll make it up. Like, oh, we haven't had a day off, so the next day off is our day off anniversary. Who gives, like, make things up.
It's more fun, more festive.
Yeah,
have fun with it.
Yeah, so I am a person who makes things up and I love it. Rory asked Dean if he wants to double date. I could, like, Dean's like, look, I got very few days on this earth. I got to spend them with adults, your teacher and your mom.
I like that he was like, with adults, and she's like, not adults, my mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
right.
That's cute.
She's kind of right. Yeah. And he's very sweet about it. And he ends up schooling Max on who these people are. I know that we'll get to it, but can we get to it really quick now? Because they're on a double date and Max is super surprised about everything that Lorelai and Rory are about.
He's clearly, and I know that this is set up for us to understand it, but also he knows them better. He has spent way more time with the two of them together. He has seen their banter. He has seen Lorelai make pepperoni talk, which is something I would totally do. But he understands their dynamic. He understands when they get cranky, which I think is a little condescending, but we'll let it go for the sake of the,
hey, if you're getting cranky at the same time every time, I'm allowed to clock it.
Yeah. But, it's you're kind of like a dog, like you haven't had your treat. You're getting cranky.
Am I doing that?
What's that?
If I'm doing it and you're pointing it out.
I guess so. But I don't like when people point out that I'm being cranky at all.
Well, he didn't say to point it out.
I know.
He just said, don't start a new conversation when
it's
late at night. Like, hey, I think those are great rules for anybody.
No,
if
I know.
I'm falling
it's true.
asleep, don't bring it up.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But we're to understand that this is all new information for Max because he's only ever seen Lorelai and he's only ever had sex with her. They have not had a conversation about how they sleep in the same bed or about morning habits, about I don't know. She knows his favorite ice cream. I guess that's a start.
Wow. And let's bring this up. Dean and Rory have been dating pretty much the same amount of time.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
And Dean doesn't get to sleep over Rory's and Rory's not sleeping over Dean's.
No.
So they're kind of spending less time together.
Yes.
Everyone goes to work or school. So it's, the weekend is the weekend. So, and Lorelai and Max had a chance to talk on the phone because a lot of their relationship has been, let's figure out who we are, what we like. So what did you learn?
Yeah.
Then when they go back to the house, Max decides he's now daddy dearest.
Yes. So I wrote a lot about
so upsetting
this part. I also liked when Max and Luke met.
I loved it.
When they have breakfast together because, okay, this is a pet peeve of mine. And and Lorelai had the same thing, which is when you go to a diner, how hard do you read a diner menu for breakfast?
No, I pretty much know what I want for breakfast.
Me too.
The only thing I would look at a diner for a menu is like, are there any specials where you're putting way too many things together? Because I'll get that,
Right.
Like, if you could throw in like one pancake.
Right. Yes. Okay. So I'll look at like, combo number 2 comes with a waffle and like that. Like that's what I'm looking for. But I know like pretty much what I'm going to order when you go to a diner for breakfast. So it irritated me when they're there for breakfast. It's a freaking coffee shop diner. It's not a complicated menu. And he's like, I'm going to need a minute. And I was like, oh my God. I'm going to need a minute.
At the same time, they literally didn't give him a minute. A minute. He's new. He's new to your dynamic. He's new to the diner. He's new to the town. He's new to sleeping over. He's new to your house. He's the new guy. I think we're allowed to give him but he said, go on your timing. And I'm like, why don't we know each other's timing yet?
Yeah.
Is this the first time we're at breakfast?
He's new. He's not new to breakfast. He's not new to diners. He's not new to how to order. Like what? Like, I feel like, I don't know.
He's so uncomfortable.
I didn't like it. But then he was like, you guys order. And then the weird thing about like, we run out of batter. That's not true. Like, I don't get what Luke was doing there. This little power play of like, pushing him to order was so weird. But I was with Lorelai and Rory on this when he was like, I'm going to need a minute. And they were like, what?
This is the first time, this episode's the first time that I was not on Max's side, but like on, I wanted to name it Good Morning Max. This whole thing, I'm like, good morning, Max. You don't like Lorelai. Good morning, Max. You don't like her pace. Yeah. Good morning, Max. You don't like to eat in this place. Good morning. You don't like her small town that doesn't have all your newspapers.
Yes.
Good morning. Yes. You're not good for each other. How is this your first morning in her favorite place?
The wedding is 2 weeks away and this is the first time you're doing all of these things. It's infuriating. And I hope that they're setting this up to do what I want them to do and call off the wedding, which I would think happens, but not really sure.
Well, I don't know. Even like the first night that Max slept over Lorelai's, she was like, "Oh, is this weird to your child?"
I like when you wake someone up and you wake them up with "What you doing?"
I do that
because she wakes up Rory and she's like, "What you doing?" And Rory's like, "What?"
Do you know how many times I say "What you doing" in my house? I had to figure out that what I sounded like to a new person with me was interrogating. I think
not interrogating.
I was like, hey, by the way, when I say "what you doing," I want you to notice that you're usually doing nothing. And what do I think you're doing? I know what you're doing. It's just a
conversation opener. It's just saying like, "What's up, buddy?" But instead of saying "What's up, buddy," you're like, "What you doing?"
Yeah.
What's the tone you use when you say "What you doing"? Because if you say it like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, that's how I say it.
That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, so yeah. I make sure that everyone's uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, but if you're like, "What you doing?" when you walk into the room and you see someone, I think that's saying, that's just how you say hello.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand somebody hating that all day. Luckily, I don't think he's never said he doesn't, but
he's just sleepwalking. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? But
so yeah,
but I think Lorelai getting in bed with Rory illustrates that she doesn't want to be in bed with Max, her fiance. You'd rather be with your teenage daughter than your fiance. So weird.
She even says like, "Oh, we haven't spoken about this long enough." And I know she's making excuses like, "Oh, Rory, you're uncomfortable. It's not that I'm uncomfortable, but you're uncomfortable. And if I was your teenage kid where you're marrying my teacher, I would need to be uncomfortable and you make it better." This is what people were saying, where Rory has to parent Lorelai constantly.
Yep.
And here's another example of it. Yep. Rory is convincing her mom that it's her fiance she's sleeping next to. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can stay 10 more minutes in my bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, it's really funny that we know that Rory is the parent. Rory is the adult in this relationship. Mm-hmm. And that Max tries to say, what do I do if she stays out late? What do I do? And he starts the dad thing. I have a quick question because we got to get into that. But quickly, why can't Dean and Rory come into the house?
I don't know. Maybe as teenagers, it's still nice out and you don't want to make out in front of your mom. Like stuff like that.
But
like
they're upstairs.
I don't know. Maybe they're just saying goodbye?
I guess so, but I thought that was so weird. I'm like, if they're going to stand out there and chat for 30 minutes, why don't they come in and sit down?
Maybe they think they're saying goodbye and it
ends up
like
being 30
minutes. You know?
I guess so. I just thought that was really funny where he goes, it's after 11 o'clock. And I was like, right. So they're coming in to hang out or like, I don't know. I didn't know what that was doing. Okay. But then the scene in the bedroom.
Oh my God. Oh my God. First of all, Max looking at Rory, and I know you said this already, but Max looking at Rory and Dean and going, it's past 11, and their clueless faces are like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, old man.
Right. Good night.
Yeah, so then he comes in super dad mode to Lorelai and goes, how long are they going to be outside for? And you know what's funny is it doesn't even check in on it. She doesn't clock at all like why he's even talking about it, which makes sense. Rory's about to turn 17.
Right.
What do you care how long she's making out for? He says, and I thought this was like really gross and inappropriate. What if I catch them making out on the couch? Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere. Or why there's a million things that depends on, but them making out should be none of your concern.
Right.
You know, like what, did you catch them or did you just happen to walk in the room?
Yeah.
Because then continue about what you're doing in the room.
Yeah. Like I'm hoping none of them walk into the makeout session, but it might happen. And then you go, oh, right. We're all dating someone. Like,
right.
This isn't, I'm not naked.
Like, I'm glad I'm not forcing you to make out like in a van down the river because you're comfortable making out with your boyfriend in my home.
Right.
Rather than like having to go to make out point or whatever teenagers do in movies.
Yeah. And then you have to drive home after that.
But he's I think I started to write it down like, I wrote down I didn't understand why they couldn't come inside. But that he started stepdadding and was like, what if she comes home drunk?
Now, this is such a stupid question. I'm so sorry. Like, I know that she's underage. He's the adult in the house. Maybe Lorelai's not home. But what is your concern?
Right.
What is it? So she goes, I don't know, nothing. First of all, Lorelai goes, that's not going to happen.
Right. Because she's the grown-up and you're the child, Lorelai.
Sure, but that's a little naive. Like, even your goody two-shoes could, accidentally, your first drink could make you a little tipsy and maybe you're feeling even sick about it.
But him coming up with that scenario was so foreign to Lorelai. Mm-hmm. And so her answer is spur of the moment. Like she hadn't had time to think about this. She's like, I don't know, do nothing. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Like it's my kid. But she also says somewhere in here that like Rory's basically fully grown.
I love what she says. She goes,
did I say Lorelai? I meant Rory. Yeah.
Rory's done.
She's done.
Brought up. She's Rory. You don't need a role.
Yes.
Which, first of all, to finish the drunk thing, if a teenage kid is drunk, whether they're your fiance's kid, your own kid, whatever, if a teenage kid is drunk and that's the first time or they're new to it or even if they're regularly drunk, what do you do with anyone who's drunk?
Right.
You make sure they're going to be okay until the next morning, where you're either having a conversation or not, but you're checking in on them.
Right.
You're making sure you're close enough so that they don't swallow their own puke is all you can do.
Yes, you give them, right, exactly.
Why don't you know this as an adult teacher?
I know. Like, what do you do if she come home, like, give her an alcohol test and then punish her, give her a spanking?
Make sure you yell right away.
Yeah, yell at her right away and have a discussion about how what she did was wrong. And be like, no, your kid come home, let them sleep it off. And then you either talk about it or make fun of them.
Right. And also, like, you let me decide that because she's 17. Mm-hmm. I decide how we react to her being drunk, to her losing her virginity, which, can we stop clocking
it's coming because we can't have this series that we have 5 more seasons. They're not going to make her be a virgin until she's 22.
Yeah. And also she gets to decide if she's going to even talk to you guys about that.
But and the relationship they have currently is good. You know, they do talk to each other about everything and they're really open. So Max can only impede that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to come in and make up a whole bunch of new stepdad rules that are going to fix their dynamic or make her a better kid or a better person.
Right.
He's there to be mom's husband. He's not there to be dad.
At best, he can help you with your homework because he's a teacher.
Right.
And she has to come to you with that.
Right.
Or you have to have a conversation. But for the most part, I don't even know when you're going to see this kid, really.
Yeah, you're not hanging out. I mean, my mom got married when I was in college, and I had a fine relationship with my stepdad, but he and I never really hung out, just the two of us, very rarely. In the 20 years they were married, did I ever just me and him giving me advice. It was so unheard of, you know?
Because you were done.
Because I was done. And for funsies. If we disagreed on something, I would jokingly say, "You're not my father," and
which is so sweet,
and then run from the room because it was funny, and then we'd all have a laugh, right?
That's sweet because you know each other's sense of humor.
Yes,
you know how far to take
and
it.
he knew he didn't have to dad me; he was there to support mom while she mommed me, which was another thing in my late 20s, in my early 20s, I mean. But yeah,
and she's allowed to have a life.
Yeah. But him thinking, also them having this conversation for the first time.
Oh my God.
About what is your relationship going to be to my daughter?
I am clutching something right now.
I was so angry at this scene. I was so angry at the scene. And Lorelai's bafflement should have been so telling for him.
Which it was.
Yes. Because he was you haven't considered a future together. And that should have been we got to call this off.
You having not considered a future together when you have a child who's almost raised, granted, but when you have another person, let's call her a human, to consider that you're making these, you haven't thought about this, but I say to Max, you haven't thought about it either.
Yeah.
You're also having this discussion.
You were thinking with your wiener and you proposed because you wanted to stop a fight.
Yeah. How long have you been thinking about this? You've only been dating her 9 months. What have you been talking about? And by the way, she stopped this fight by talking about lingerie and kissing him. And he goes, "It's not fair when you do that." And I'm like, oh my God, you are so...
so easy.
Dignitized?
Yeah.
I don't...
You know what they've been talking about for 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
Those flowers were pretty great, weren't they? Remember those yellow flowers? That was pretty great. Yeah? You like that? That cost me $3,000. That was pretty nice, right? You like those flowers?
I had to find 1,000 yellow daisies in your stupid town.
I had to find it, and I had to ship some of them in because no florist has that on hand. You like that?
Also, I didn't want any part of it, so it's not like I showed up with it. You deal with that.
Right.
Ugh, God, I roll my eyes at Max.
That's what they've been talking about for 2 months.
Okay. Well, then there's a bachelor party to attend, of course, which is going to be the corniest, which I'm fine with. I'm not into the strippers and I'm also not into this is your last chance to blah, blah, blah. No, I don't want that chance. I really like being with this person. I don't need my hand down anyone's pants. I don't need, somebody's butt in my face. I'm not into it. I'm not. I don't know what I sound like right now. But.
Now, you and I have talked about bachelorette parties before.
Oh, yeah. I should write it down, though, because
and I
you are
told
so
you
specific.
You are the keeper of my bachelorette party plan.
Oh, God.
And I told you this plan, and you said, I'm going to be the keeper of this plan. And then a few months later, I questioned you, and you had forgotten. I told you again. And every couple of months, I quiz you, and it is time again. Do you remember my very specific bachelorette party plans that you are the keeper of?
I don't. Why did you do this? I'm getting a pen and pad, though. Oh
no, now I don't tell you. No, because this is, now we're out in, this is public.
No, God.
Now we're being recorded. No, You're missing the point.
I am.
The point is, when I come to you and say the time has come, you throw me my bachelorette party that we've talked about multiple times. And you end up taking me to like a cake making class or something because you forgot.
I'm turning red.
You were a bad keeper of my bachelorette party plan.
That's awful. I have to like sincerely apologize.
It's because we're only Gilmore friends and not actual friends.
No, don't take away the regular friendship. That's not the point. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
But also, you're gonna remember when I tell you.
I am. Because I'm gonna put it in a doc.
You're gonna write it down. You're going to put it in the cloud.
I lost my memory power.
That's okay. But they're planning a corny bachelorette party, which I don't mind. I've been to every bachelorette party over the years. I've been to the super mundane, boring ones, and I've been to the ruckus, hand down the pants, butt in my face ones. And like, I think they're all fun.
Yeah.
I think.
Do like the real you. To me, a good bachelorette party matches the person who's bacheloretting.
Yeah.
So if that's you, that's you. And I feel like this is them. Except, frankly, can we leave Rory at home for this one?
I was so mad. Why is Rory there?
I don't know. I know they're not going to go like nuts. I know there's not going to be like,
I know. But they don't trust the other patrons of the bar. That's the thing. They know that they're going to keep track of her and she's going to be okay. But they don't know what's going to happen on stage. They don't know. Like, I just feel like
it's not even that. It's like I think at 17 you could see what's going to happen on stage. What are you going to see? What are you going to see? A butt? Like, who cares? But and you're at a drag party. That's just fun. Like, you're going to have innuendos and cute things. And at 17 you can handle it.
I'm sure she could handle it.
Whatever. But it's that. Can you have adult talk that's like maybe a little sexual, a little like, you know, can you be adults for a second without the child?
Yes, that's what it is.
It's a vibe.
Like you really can't do anything. And that the fact that they have to scam her in there and that it works.
I mean, it's the year 2000. And
it was a terrible bouncer. I mean, that guy needs to be fired immediately because they're like, she's a model in Germany. And he's like, all right. What?
Well, look, she's supposed to be 18. So they're still checking in the bar if she can drink or not. So what's going to happen? She's close enough. If it's 21 and over, maybe that's different because now she's going to drink.
Maybe I didn't clock that she had to be 18 and she's
18?
Like, all right. I know, but still, very stupid. I didn't like it.
Don't bring her. What if you couldn't get in? There's nothing else to do.
You'll wait in the car, Rory?
There's several cars because there's more than one car's worth of people by like one, but it doesn't matter. Michel invited himself. Then he invited Emily. What kind of party is this? Your mom's there. Your daughter's there. The guy at work who doesn't like you is there. Go home.
I thought it was really weird that Michel was there because it's a bachelorette party, which is another indicator that he's gay, by the way, because you invite your gay bestie to your girls only bachelorette party.
Understood. However, I understand that like later when we're allowed to have gays on TV openly, they're like, oh yeah, Michel was always gay. You guys just assumed one way or another. And we left out pronouns and gender and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, you didn't. Because in this episode, he said the girls like it too. You know, when he shakes his butt. And I'm like, that's not gay. If that's...
Wait, he says the girls like it too in what?
He says, I like to shake my butt on the weekend and the girls like it too.
Okay.
No, but that's innuendo for like either a straight guy or a gay guy pretending to be straight. I'm just saying
it's a gay dancer. He's a Chippendale dancer on the weekends.
I'm just saying
for straight ladies
that they were not leaving out pronouns and genders
you're right.
and stuff. And it was because a lot of people were like, you didn't know, they left it out. You should have. And I'm like, they didn't leave it out. They on purpose sometimes made him straight with the words because you're not allowed to just, So it's like, okay. But
I loved the camera work, the reveal of Emily.
Oh, good.
I didn't expect her to be there. Mm-hmm. I thought something crazy was going to happen because why else are we there? But
we left town.
I know, we're out of Stars Hollow. I thought they should all disappear. But
I'm pretty sure they were down the block, but they left the town.
Right. There's a drag bar in Stars Hollow, and the outskirts of town. There's this drag club, or it's a regular club, but they have a drag night.
Right.
Okay. So, but then the camera follows, and then people are in the way, and they move out of the way. And at the table, she just looks up, and she's holding a martini glass, and I went, yeah! I was so happy to see her. She just looked so cool. She looked so like she owned the place. And I loved Emily in this episode.
I loved everything Emily in this episode. I loved just one thing she's like, if you're going to invite someone for 8:00 and let it be 8:00.
Yeah, that was rude.
Okay, sure. After that, the way she asked Lorelai, how do you feel you're getting married? That's so bachelorette-y. It's so nice. It's inviting. It's talking about you for your wedding. It's very nice. Then she talked about her and how much she loved Richard. And I love the things that she said. Mm-hmm. I know it's very frou-frou to be I put on my wedding dress every night that week, but it was so sweet and so nice. And I love this quote from her. She remembers how she felt, and she says, how very, very safe I felt. Mm-hmm. How very right and wise and honored. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so nice. Oh my God.
Picture a young Emily, looking excited and sneaking the try on the dress. I know. I love that.
So sweet. And she was so sweet about it. It wasn't, although everyone's attention was on her, she wasn't taking attention from the night. She was really in it. It was so sweet. And that made everybody want to call their sweet special person.
Yes.
I wanted to call my sweet special person. It was so nice. But who does Lorelai call?
So wait, but before that, while they're in line, she gets a call from Max while they're waiting in line, and he's having his bachelor party the same night, and they find out that his got canceled because his brother got a concussion jumping over a parking meter or something.
I mean, that checks out. That sounds fine.
I wrote it down because this has happened to me where I go out with the bachelorette party. My boyfriend at the time goes to the bachelor party, and some crazy drama happens at the bachelor party. And we get word of it at the bachelorette party. Let me tell you what happened. I didn't know the bride very well.
Can I just say before you, because what I think always happens is we are not teenagers anymore. But we are in teenage mind, so we think we can do the stuff that we used to do, and we get called out for being wrong by our own bodies. But let's hear the story.
Okay. Not okay. Okay. So I'm a +1. I don't know these girls very well. My boyfriend at the time was friends with the groom, and he knew them much better. So he's with some people he knows, and they very graciously invited me to hang out with them, even though I was sort of a noob. And they were so nice. These girls were very welcoming. It wasn't cliquey. It wasn't weird. Aww. We all acknowledged that I didn't know anyone, but they were getting to know me, and it was fun. We're having a great girls' night out. I think we went to a dance club or something. Ooh. This is not in New York City. The same night, the boys are going out and they're doing their thing. And we're joking in the limousine about how we're not texting our boys because it's the whole group of guys, and who needs boys? We're not even talking about the boys. Blah, blah, blah. Eventually, one of the guys gets through to one of the girls. We had to leave because there was a shooting.
Oh.
At the club we went to. They went to a strip club, and there was a shooting.
I misread.
And the cops not locked the doors, but not contained, I don't know, but they needed witness accounts of who was where and who saw what. And they hadn't seen anything, but they needed to be cleared by the cops. They had to talk to cops. So their bachelor party, not only did they not have the full strip club experience, which of course is tragic, but they witnessed a horribly violent thing and then spent the night waiting for cops to talk to them. And we are getting this information piecemeal because we all weren't texting our menfolk.
Oh my God.
So somebody pulls out the phone and is like, there was a shooting? This is also pre-smartphone.
Oh,
this was pre-2007. So we had no smartphones to like Google it, you know? And so we're like, they did what? They did who? And we're like, who got shot? Like, we didn't know what happened. There was this crazy drama. They had the worst night ever. And we were like, should we go back to the hotels? Are we ending the Bachelorette night?
Or should we call our ex?
The one thing, okay, to bring it back.
I'm sorry.
Why does she call Christopher? I didn't recognize him.
I know. That's why I didn't want to say anything. I was waiting for you to do. Did I cut off your story? Because
that was the end of the story. Just that we didn't end our night because the boys had to be witnesses in a shooting at a strip club.
That's one of the greatest Bachelor stories.
Isn't that crazy?
Everyone's okay, so I could say that was amazing.
I mean, talk about bonding with new friends, you know?
Yeah.
We were like, but all the boys are okay, right? Let's keep dancing.
But it's nothing like being Gilmore Friends. Okay, so what I remembered is that you only saw Christopher one time.
Yes.
And they cut to him and he's in a pretty dark area. And I'm like, I don't think she's clocking that this is Christopher.
I didn't clock it.
It was totally fair for you not to because you don't have a lot of experience with him.
I didn't remember what he looked like.
It was. The fact that your jaw dropped was so exciting to me.
What was my face?
Because I'm like, she cannot be regular about this. She can't. I'll cry.
Because at first, they set it up like she's going to call Max. Mm-hmm. And Max had already previously said that he was going home. So she calls and a gentleman, you don't really see his face at first, is like sorting CDs in an apartment. So it was not on my radar that it wasn't going to be Max.
I know, it's
so I didn't look at him. I'm also taking notes. I'm writing. Because I wanted to remember to tell you the story about the Bachelor drama story. So I look up and I'm like, that's not Max. And then I'm like, who else would she possibly call? And I was like, that's not Christopher. And you nod. And I don't know if you're nodding, yes, it's Christopher, or nodding, yes, that's not Max.
Mm.
So I'm like watching their conversation because she's like, this is Trixie from last night, like flirty, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something she could flirtily say to Max.
Mm-hmm,
so I'm like, who else is she being flirty?
And then I'm
Luke, like, it's not Luke. Luke I can recognize by now. It's not Sean Gunn.
So like, imagine she calls
Kirk. Hey, it's Trixie. I'm like, wait, what? She calls this person that we haven't seen for half a season. Mm-hmm. How many episodes has it been since we even saw this guy's face?
Yeah, a few.
So why on earth is she calling Christopher?
The why on earth Emily line. That's the thing. So you kind of feel their connection in their phone call. She has an ease with him. When you know someone from like high school and you made a baby with them and all of this stuff, there's an ease, there's a warmth, there's something about like, we know why you like Christopher. And also the first time we saw him, I said, hey, this is her drug. This is what she takes when she starts feeling vulnerable, unsafe, sad. It's what you do when you drink, when you overeat, when you something. This is her drug. Her mother suddenly reminded her that she's not as in love with Max. So she went to do her drug in the bathroom. Christopher.
I agree with you that he is her drug. I was confused by the timing of it because they've set it up that they don't talk all the time. Or maybe I think when the episode that he was in, I was like confused about, do they talk? Like, do they have real conversations or are they just catching up on whatever Rory's doing?
Well, they also said in that episode when Lorelai was talking to Suki, she said how, he pisses her off and then he looks at her and it's Christopher. I think she always has that in the back of her mind because they have this, trauma bond from a while ago, from literally like at this point, almost 20 years ago, and they've known each other for longer than 20 years. So you have this very specific bond that people have with their alcohol, drugs,
so
food.
I think she calls the last person she felt that connection with.
I think she calls someone to sort of ease the pain of feeling vulnerable and having any feelings at all coming up.
Right.
She did not. Everyone at that table, including her daughter, was like, swoon. And she was like, oh God, I don't like the feelings that are coming up. Whenever she doesn't like the feeling that is coming up, she takes her Chris.
Yeah. We just haven't seen her do that before.
Except when she slept with him on the balcony because she had a feeling.
Yes, but she didn't, for example, call him when she and Max broke up. Or maybe we just didn't see her do it. Right. You know, like maybe she's been sneaking calls to him this whole time.
Or maybe sometimes she can pass on the drink. Sometimes she can pass on. Sometimes you can stay sober and then it's too much and you fall back.
She fell back.
And it's so sad but you understand how comfortable it is.
But even he says, why are you calling me?
Mm-hmm. And
why are you calling me right now?
Yeah. She said, I wanted to tell someone who knows me really well that I'm getting married. That's not why, because he doesn't even know about this man at all. You didn't even tell him you're getting married. Like, this is not why did you drink that last drink? Do you really know why? Or are you like, I don't know. Can you not ask me this question? Like,
speaking of drinks, she orders a Long Island iced tea.
Oh my God.
Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
What is happening?
What is she even doing? It's crazy.
Just do shots. Like, do shots from your belly button.
You would have less of a hangover doing straight tequila shots at this point. Long Island iced tea is just a hangover in a glass and nothing more. It's bad.
But also don't blame that for calling Chris. Because
don't blame that for calling Chris because we all saw you have one sip. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you lightweight.
Oh,
but I mean, I'm
Lorelai.
glad if she did call him because she was drunk, I'm glad it wasn't a worse call. Wasn't she like, take me back?
True. She didn't overdose.
But it could have gone a lot.
Usually overdoses are by accident.
She wanted the comfort of someone who used to be super into her. And she wanted to be reminded that she has the ability to be in love with someone.
True. And the only reason why she didn't overdose is because she didn't get an overdose amount. He made it kind of neutral as possible while being friendly. And I think he was not out of line, except when he said, put Trixie back on the phone. But I think that was a reasonable joke.
That was playful within their scope. Yeah.
But she only didn't overdose because he didn't give her an overdose amount.
Yeah.
Last time he did. So she overdosed.
Right. But then she pulled out of it.
After she already took the hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like it. You know what this scene needed that it didn't have? Drunk Emily. I wanted to see Emily have a few. I wanted to see Emily 3 martinis in, not sloppy drunk.
Mm-hmm.
But I want her singing along with the drag queens drunk.
I agree with you.
And they edited that out. I know they shot it because they did. They edited it out and I don't like it. I want to see it. Somebody has that footage. AI can make that footage for me. But why did they not have it?
We'll just have to wish it for you for now.
I know.
Okay.
Can we get to the Hangover? The Hangover Part 3. The Hangover Part whatever we're on. But
it's such a sweet hangover. I've never been hungover, have you?
You've never been hungover?
I've never drank. Not really. I drank like a drink, maybe 1.5. I don't know. I drank like 2 drinks. I don't know if I hit 3. Like, I don't drink. I never drank. I just can't.
Okay.
I did other things.
But yes, to answer your question, I have experienced a hangover once or twice.
I know what I sound like. It's not that. Did you have a baseball the size of a cantaloupe in your head?
Oh yeah, I've done all that.
Did you drink copiously?
I would never drink Long Island iced teas.
No?
I'll tell you that.
Not even in your 20s?
Not even in my 20s.
Teens? Nothing?
In my 20s, I was doing vodka cranberry.
Okay.
And that became vodka tonic.
Mm.
And then I somehow figured out that I like clear liquor rather than brown liquor. So I like vodka and gin and tequila, but not whiskey and scotch and,
They all just taste bad. If they tasted good, I'd be in so much trouble.
I know.
So much trouble.
I know. That's why you got to add a bunch of crap in it.
The problem is when people, because I've tried, I'm like, okay, add some stuff in it. And then I'm like, well, this tastes like so sweet. I want to die. I can't drink it fast enough because it's sweet. So I just ruined my stomach with Diet Coke.
Right.
And you add vodka to it. And now I'm drinking it too slow for it to do anything to me because it tastes horrible. So,
right. Yeah. No, it's, you have to want it. You know what I mean? And when I was in college, I drank Jack and Coke.
That sounds like I could do that. There's something about that mix that is a little easier.
Coke is so sweet. Coca-Cola is so sweet that you really don't. And I would add like a bunch of limes to it. It was weird. But then I became, as we've already talked about, I've become caffeine sensitive. So I'd be drunk, but like vibrating with caffeine late.
I didn't think of that.
And it was awful. I was like, I gotta stop drinking 9, Jack and Cokes all night. Ugh.
That's funny because I was called an Energizer bunny in high school because I was just like, and even out of high school. But now that I think about it, I was on Diet Coke all day.
See, there you go. You could have just added some Jack Daniels to that. Yeah. But no, the Hangover is very fun. I had wanted a little bit more of the actual Bachelorette party, but that's just me. Just because I wanted to see Emily and Miss Patty dancing together.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that have been fun?
That would have been fun.
And like, I wanted to see Rory be mortified by her mom and her grandmother.
I wouldn't mind Rory drinking a little bit.
I know. So I feel like that scene got cut short a little bit. Like I just wanted to see more of it. But okay.
Yeah, it was more about feelings.
Yeah. But all of that is left to our imagination and they are suffering the next day.
Yeah. And who's not suffering? Max, not from a hangover anyway, but he is moving in like now.
Yeah.
And Lorelai didn't make him a key. Would you feel offended? Like, hey, this is the second time I'm asking for the key. I'm locked out of what is now considered my own home. I'm starting to feel like this is something I should pay attention to, which turns out to be true. But would you feel that way? I feel like I'm, not, I have forgotten to make a key, for a visitor, like, oh, I should have been more on top of that. You would have felt more welcome, Would you have gotten a little?
Yeah, I probably would have if we're engaged to be married and you're not giving me a key to your house. I don't know. Like my current boyfriend gave me a key what I thought was too early. He was like, oh, I'm going to be out and you're going to be there. Here's the key. And he just handed me a key. And I was like, he didn't think twice. He just, trusted me and wanted me to have the key.
Yeah.
Whereas it took me way longer to give him a key. Just because
you're different even about your home though, right?
Like, oh yeah. And I'm more emotionally guarded, like it's just, that's how it is. But we did eventually exchange keys is my point. If we were engaged and he was still asking me for a key, no, that is a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That she's not into it, man.
It's pretty bad. And he has to stop by your work.
Yeah.
But then he says you need to think about someone other than yourself for a few minutes a day.
Yep.
He's not wrong. But I think her response of ouch was also appropriate.
Yeah.
And then his lie to both himself and her was, oh, maybe I am hungover. I'm like, no, man, both of you need to sit in that discomfort for long enough to be like,
This is a terrible
thank
idea.
You.
Yep. It's a terrible idea.
And by the way, one of your predictions so came true in this episode, and I couldn't wait because when you were telling me that prediction, I was like, oh, I wish I could tell you right now how right you are.
What did I say? What did I predict?
You said that Lorelai is that Luke is going to do something so sweet and so personal that she's going to wake up from this stupidity, and it's going to show how much Luke cares and is this
knows her
guy,
better,
and how much he knows better than Max,
and how much he accepts her for who she is, and she doesn't have to pretend or do anything, and he knows, and he's cool with Rory, and he's going to do something really sweet but unspoken.
Yeah.
But not make a big thing about it, I mean.
Yeah, not make a big deal. It's so him. He goes, you needed something, here it is. He literally said that.
Yeah.
And then he said, apparently you guys don't mow your front lawn. I guess Max doesn't even mow either. He goes, I'll mow the lawn. And it's like,
see, he's showing up with ice. He sees what needs to be done and he does it. And he doesn't make a big stink about it. And he doesn't ask you to give him accolades or credit. It needs to be done. So he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him too.
I know.
I love him. And when I watched it with current partner, when these kinds of things happen, I would just turn around and look at him and go, hi, Luke.
Yeah.
Because I've always been telling him, like, you're so like Luke, it's just like,
yeah, just do the thing.
Kind of grumpy sometimes and like, no, I don't care. I'm like, oh, you so care.
But it's the action. Actions speak louder than words. If you show up, you got to show up for the person.
And now that I watched Parks and Rec, it's kind of like Ron.
Yes. It is. Exactly. Yeah. He shows up and just does what needs to be. He fills a pothole. And that's it. I know.
It's so sweet.
It's really sweet. Lorelai said it right after I said it, but was, isn't the Chupah a Jewish thing? And then like a second later, she's like, isn't this a Jewish thing?
I thought that too when I first saw it. I'm like, wait, is Max Jewish and I don't know it? I'm like, no, he's Italian, I think. I love how Jewish is a nationality.
Yes, exactly. But it's culturally Jewish, but it's not that insane to have a covering.
Yeah, it was
because you want to. It's like having an altar. It's like you need a centerpiece.
It was so sweet, and I loved it.
I don't believe for one second that he carved it, but I love that we were supposed to think he did.
No, but again, did you believe that Ron made all of those?
No, I know. I'm saying like in TV world, he totally made this, but I'm like, like there's
and in TV world, they ate all those burgers. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought it was so sweet, and now that I think about it, when Gilmore Friends partners come in and say, "Hey, what should I get?" That's Gilmore related, maybe some version of this Chupah. By the way, it's so weird for me to say Chupah because in Hebrew it's Chupah. And so every time I say Chupah, it's like I had to get used to saying hummus. And at first, like for years, I'm just like, just say it the way they know it. Because when I would say hummus, everyone would be like, what? And I'm like,
yeah,
just your stupid chickpea spread. Shut up.
Chickpea spread is so good. What's the other one?
Tahini.
How do you say tahini?
Trina.
Shoot.
Which I get. Those are very difficult words.
P-O-K-E. How do you pronounce P-O-K-E? Poke?
Yeah.
But I've heard some people say poke. Also gyro. Gyro. How do you say gyro? G-Y-R-O?
Gyro, but I pronounce it gyro because I'm not Greek and they told me it was gyro, so I say what they said. Just
I've
like when people say hummus, I'm like, yeah, we told you hummus somewhere. So you're going with that because hummus is very hard.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Chemda, say my name. People don't say it correctly.
Oh. Chemda.
We always find a way for you to feel bad for me somehow. Like, what the hell?
Chupah.
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 Chupah. Hey, you actually say it really well.
I say Chupah. Chupah. Chupah.
Chupah.
Chupah, you gotta have a chupah.
Chupah.
Chemda, get the hummus and the chupah. Nailed it.
Oh.
Freaking nailed it. Please edit that out. That was...
So after that sweet, sweet moment, see, I always clocked the ending of this episode as the next morning for some reason, but I'm wrong. She was wearing that outfit that she just stood underneath the chupah with Luke, and she comes in right away and says, "Pack your stuff, kids."
Oh, okay. So this is where I got confused.
Yeah.
She goes, "Pack your stuff." And she's like, "What?" And she goes, "Pack, pack, pack." I think she just says the word pack.
Mm-hmm.
When she first walks into the room, she's like, "Pack." And she's like, "Packing light is for girls." And she's flinging clothing out of a drawer in a very theatrical way. And Rory's like, what's happening? Why are we going? And then she finally, I think she says, are you marrying Max? And Lorelai has to say, no, because I'm not imagining myself wearing wedding dresses. Like she doesn't, something clicked for her. It finally clicked. And then Rory gets on board and she's like, where are we going? Someplace warm, sandy, sunny. Like
she gets into her logic brain about these emotions because she understands that that's what her mother needs. And she says, right, packing for all contingencies, light layers. Got it. And it's like, oh, Rory. Oh, Mom.
Well, she's the backup. She's the wingman,
Yeah.
And like, that's what Lorelai needs right now. But also I was very confused because it was not clear to me. And maybe I'm an idiot, or maybe this is set up for we not supposed to know. But did she tell Max?
I think you are as confused as Rory and as confused as all of us. Because
the viewers.
All the information.
Because it was not clear at all if Max is aware of this. So if she is skipping town without telling him like a coward, she might be doing that.
With his student.
Yeah, right.
Let's not forget Rory has school. It's the end of the summer.
But not yet.
Rory has school coming up.
Right. But also we're not supposed to know what day it is. Like we don't know if school starts next week or in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever.
But Max was away for the summer, right? I think they said he would be away for 2 months.
Yep.
So at best he was away for 2 months, and then it was 2 weeks to the wedding. Then it was 1 week to the wedding. And then Rory says, you're getting married this weekend.
Right.
So it is about 2 weeks to school.
Right. But we also don't know how long this road trip is going to be.
Yep.
If she's envisioning one night or like 3 weeks, or they're skipping town forever. Very unclear. A lot of loose ends.
Packing for all contingencies.
And I thought, like, until I saw the car at dawn, or the Jeep at dawn pulling out, I was like, oh, this will lead to the conversation that they're going to have about how she can't get married. But no, they actually get in the car. Mm-hmm. They follow through on let's get out of town. Oh my God, where are you going? It's crazy. And then the episode ends. Executive producers. Oh my God. And what did I say right when it ended? I demanded we watch the next episode. But you said no.
I think I believe I said, yay, you love it.
Yeah. That sounds right. You went, yay.
I did the corny thing.
But I was like, how late do you want to stay up tonight? Can we watch this next episode? Let's tape another one. I really need to know what happens. Does Max know? Like, did she leave him a voicemail or a message, a phone, an answering machine message? Like, we have to wait till episode 4 to find out what happened. But I am relieved that they are not getting married.
But how do you know they're not getting married?
Because hey.
I'm really asking.
Because she had an awakening. She realized that, oh shit, do they still get married? Don't you dare. Oh, you're so mean. That was mean. Do they still get married? They're skipping town. Oh. They better not.
I so don't like him. Oh my God. Oh, look at our Gilmore friend Carrie. Look at how she has all those emotions. While she's in her emotions and I'm in mine, I want to shout out to our new Gilmore friend, Charli. Hi, Charli. Thanks for your support. I hope you're enjoying the extras, the Gilmore Friends perks. And if you're all listening and you want to be like Charli, that's where our Patreon is. Become a Gilmore friend in that regard. Find out more at gilmorefriends.com.
Gilmorefriends.com.
Yeah, you could see like how emotional we are before and after the episode because we record it for your.
Oh yes, we record the before and afters, the episodes.
And sometimes Chemda forgets that we're recording the before and after.
Right. So you say something. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
But sometimes we're just talking about our hair. A lot of times it's hair talk, and then we start recording. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So shall we get into some trivia?
Yeah, give me the facts, man. What's going on?
So this is season 2, episode 3, Red Light on the Wedding Night. Whatevs. October 16, 2001. I actually named this trivia section.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is called, I know. What am I right now? Okay. It's called How Popular Are They? Okay.
Ooh.
The first popular character, Fran Weston, of the bakery, the owner of Weston Bakery, where Lorelai and Rory were sampling wedding cakes. She's played by Linda Porter. This woman was on every TV show you've ever heard of. I'm talking Two Broke Girls, The Mindy Project, How I Met Your Mother, The King of Queens, Girlfriends, Malcolm in the Middle, Melrose Place, ER, Wings, Roseanne, Frasier, Murder, She Wrote. That's not even the entire list. But in her final role, she starred as a recurring cast member named Myrtle in what popular TV series?
Myrtle. Oh. 30 Rock.
No.
I don't know.
So from 2016 to 2019, when she passed away, Linda Porter played Myrtle in the TV series Superstore.
Superstore. Oh, Superstore. I didn't watch that one.
Me neither. And I thought it was like some rando side project. No, this is a very popular TV show full of very popular characters. It's me that's unpopular. So
right. We're the ones left behind. Apparently, it was a great show. People love it. That's funny.
Yeah. So she did that up until her passing in 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's a long storied career.
Yeah, incredible shows. In those other ones, she did like 1 or 2 episodes, but yeah. Okay, so the next one is at the Queen Victoria, where Lorelai had her bachelorette party. There was a bunch of fairly known drag queens. Which of them is recognized as a gender fluid performer and a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race season 6?
Oh, shoot.
Now, I'll tell you the different characters they played, and this is like a multiple choice.
Okay.
So was it Uma Thurman, Janet Jackson, Judy Garland, Mae West, Marilyn Monroe, Betty Davis, or Gwen Stefani? All of those people have like a little bit of a name in the drag world, but this one was on season 6 RuPaul.
Darn it. I'm not up on my RuPaul, on my Drag Race. I'm so bad. And like, I have friends super into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say was the Uma Thurman.
You are correct.
Drag queen. Really?
Yes.
Wow. Because that was the most understated one. That's why I thought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
According to my research, their name is Kelly Mantle, otherwise sometimes known as Bijou Deluxe.
I love it.
In some databases. So shout out to all the queens. And good on you. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, this next one is about your buddy, Sean Gunn.
Ooh.
He became a regular, as you can now see on Gilmore Girls. It took a while for people, Carrie, to notice him as a recurring character in Stars Hollow. But his career is huge outside of Gilmore Girls. Other than Kirk, What character is Sean Gunn known for most?
Oh my God. Outside of Gilmore Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Was he on?
You're not going to know.
What's that?
Go ahead. You're not going to know, but go ahead.
Okay. Third Rock from the Sun.
No, this is so foreign to me that I have to put my glasses on to make sure I get this right. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to get it correct. Craglin O'Funteri. Okay. It is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Check this out. In this role, he has been in the films Guardian of the Galaxy in 2014, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 2017, Avengers Endgame, 2019, Thor, Love and Thunder, 2022, this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, 2023, as well as the animated series What If, 2021 to 2024, television special The Guardian of the Galaxy. It goes on and on. Okay. And his younger brother is director James Gunn, so he often appears in his production. But he is known in the Marvel world.
This is okay. So I'm not in this Marvel world.
Me neither. I had to look this up. I had no idea.
Sometimes I get dragged to see a Marvel movie because I'm a good sport and I'm a good sister and I'm a good girlfriend and but I will not on my own steam decide to go see a Marvel movie. So it's unlikely that I would track who plays who or
Me
what.
too. But in some worlds, we're like, oh my God, it's Kirk. And other people are like,
that's the guy from
universe.
That's Glemke Kamorkamfink. What's his name?
You said it better than me. Craglin O'Funteri.
People who know this character name are gonna be so mad at you. I know. Somebody write it phonetically in the or you have to Google it. I don't know. But yes, we're not Marvel smarts. How about that?
No, but good on Kirk. My goodness. We're like, oh, that's Kirk. Okay. Oh, so you've been...
Is there a lot of crossover between the Gilmore Friends fan base or Gilmore Girls fan base and the Marvel fan base, I wonder? Drop a line in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah, I would like to know.
I'd be curious what the Venn diagram is.
Right. So far, we're outside of it.
So far, we're strictly in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Marvel. I'm just, not.
I don't know that you and I are going to go see a Marvel movie in our entire lifetimes together.
Not just the two of us, no.
No.
That was my Bachelorette plan, by the way. To see.
I am horrified at myself. Horrified. You should quit. Not my friendship and not Gilmore friendship either. I can't.
What should I quit? No, we're not quitting. We're going to see this through, goddammit. We started this, we're finishing this.
Okay, good. Oh my God.
Predictions. I don't have many that are different than last show because I am thrilled that it looks like the wedding is off. But based on your reaction, I am now terrified that they're going to do a double twisty and the wedding is going to be on because she's going to be like, "Oh no, I had cold feet." And this day and a half road trip taught me that I really do love you. And they're going to get married anyway. Poker face. So I don't want that. I'm glad that Emily was much softer and cooler in this episode, as I predicted, I think.
You did do that. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for now. Mm-hmm. I want Rory to have some opinion on Max. That is not just go along to get along. Also, by the way, where is Lane?
Not back yet.
Is she alive?
She had a one-way ticket.
So she's out of the show forever?
I have no idea because I have a poker face and I am taking the entire pot.
I think they wrote her out of the show and we get a postcard next episode that's like, I'm off. I live in Indonesia now. Forever.
Not Korea.
No. She met an Indonesian guy. She's in Indonesia now.
Okay.
And she never returns to the show.
I hope she doesn't step on any bees.
Honeybees.
Like poor Rachel.
Oh yeah, where's Rachel? Yeah.
All right, those are great predictions.
Rachel and Christopher are going at it. Did we ever see them in the same room? Exactly.
Oh,
you heard it here, folks.
Folks, we are doing some live streams. They're separate than these episodes. You got to subscribe on YouTube. And for those who are like, oh, I missed it, I wanted to be a part of it. When you subscribe on YouTube, it will let you know when we're live. But also, if you hit the bell, it'll notify you a little bit extra if that's what you're looking for.
You need that reminder. Hit the bell.
But wherever you are listening to this, we wish for a subscription from your end. Press a button. It costs nothing. Thank you so much for listening. Good night.
Good night, Gilmore Friends.